Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're having a great day. I am once again with Eric from Sage News. We've got some more information on the trucking industry, and it's interesting because as the factoring companies are starting to slow their pay, slow their roll, let's say, for lack of better terms, we're finding more and more interesting things that we have brought, actually Eric has brought to me to help the trucking industry, help the owners of these trucks to keep on trucking for, sorry, lack of better terms. Eric, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on again. Yeah, thanks. I wanted to bring this out to everybody so they can get an idea. So recently, one of my carriers, just one driver came to me and said, hey, I'm having an issue with through my factoring company with some of the other brokers, the freight brokers out there paying. And he had 5 different freight brokers that they range everywhere from 65 days late to 99 days late. So that's a big deal because once you go past 90 in some of these factoring companies, it's called recourse. They'll actually start to hold your money because they don't know if it's a credit problem or a paperwork problem. So if it, sometimes a non-recourse, they have to wait for a bankruptcy before they'll give you the money back. But factoring companies will start to hold your money when you go past 90. So what we basically did is I said, well, give me authorization to make some of these calls and I want to know what's going on here. So he sent me an email and said, yeah, I'm a part of the company. So I started to do the calls. And when I started to get some of these calls, it ended up being a lot of excuses and holding of paperwork. Like the one call that was 99 days, when I spoke with them on the phone, they're like, well, we couldn't read one of the papers. It was blurry. And my first statement was, okay, no problem. Can you just email me that and I'll take a look at it? And she says, no, never mind. I'll just send the money. So it kind of became that type of, almost every one of them had an excuse on why it was late, something with paperwork.
Okay, so if I'm hearing this right, so we're covering this sort of as it's happening. And as we're talking about this, these are literally happening in the last few days. And this kind of information probably isn't hitting the end user, the trucking company, correct? Because we're starting to see them slow the amount of days that it takes to pay. What was let's put it this way, a better question. How long was it usually normal business? How long would it take a company to pay its drivers or its company that it's working with?
Usually, and even with my direct customers, it's anywhere from like a faster pay of 15 days to about 35 days was your normal range of that pay. But what happens is as customers start to slow pay the broker starts to slow pay the carrier. And it starts to creep up in that longer day range. And what eventually starts happening is these factoring companies will start to pull back on the amount of credit that they issue to truck drivers. But the truck driver might not know that because if it's a company that they're using all the time, they don't check every time. They might check once every 6 months or something, but they're just going and doing that load again.
And so one thing this can do is really hamper cash flow in a company, because if they're not watching how fast, or let's say now all of a sudden how slow they're getting paid, they can, they have bills that are stacking up. They got to pay for fuel, they got to pay for food, they got to pay for all these different things, pay for their truck drivers. And what happens is, if I'm mistaken and not mistaken, if they don't check this and they're getting their invoices paid slower and slower, and they're going to run into a serious cash flow issue, correct?
Right. And this is where he had an issue. That's why I gave him helped out, is he has insurance due. So when his insurance is coming up and he's seeing some of his money being held by the factoring company to cover what these guys are late paying, he's like, what do? I got to pay insurance, but they're not paying me because they're holding money. And I said, okay, let's get this rolling. So they might not know until they start to say, hey, why was that funding so low on money there? Then they have to call and say, what's going on?
So, and we don't want to run this too long. I want to give a warning. If you're a trucker or somebody that's a trucker, please share this video. And the reason why, and we're going to explain how you can do something to help yourself right now. I think this is very vital, because even though you may not be checking your invoices right now, and you're still trucking and you're still hustling to make your money, which is great, you may not know that behind the scenes, your own business may be deteriorating. So with that being said, Eric, it's a good idea for people to go check right now their last month's invoices to see if they've been paid, right?
Absolutely. It's your, although it's the factoring company's job to make the calls, it's still your money and it's still your business. So you really need to be checking your aging of your invoices. And if it's not coming in quick, make the calls yourself. You have a lot more power to make the calls yourself. Sometimes factoring companies are limited to the same rules as a collection company. They can't harass, they can't do that. You can call every day. And if that's what it takes, that's what you need.
Yeah, and it's, we're not here saying that factoring companies are trying to destroy you guys, trying to put you out of business.
Right.
But there's a lot of pressure and strain on all systems and controls right now, worldwide. So it might not be that your factoring company is having financial problems. It might just be because they may be having the same problems as you guys, finding good qualified employees to work.
Right.
You might be getting overburdened. So it's not necessarily the factoring company that is at fault here. But what we're trying to do, and Eric brought this to my attention, was we want to make sure you guys are staying on top of this, because as the system breaks down, as the supply chain implodes, as businesses go out of business, we don't want you, if you're doing good, solid work and you're honorable with your work, we want to make sure you're getting paid on time so that you can pay your bills, so you're not part of the equation for this collapse as well. Right, Eric?
Correct. Absolutely. Your money, stay on top of it, run your business, just keep track of your invoices coming in and out.
Nice. All right. Well, so we're going to wrap this up here, and we're going to be looking at this more in depth, because we do have some proof, and Eric has got somebody that he'd like to bring onto the show. So in a couple of days, we're going to be bringing you some more info. With that being said, Eric, how do they follow you?
Check out, I'll be in the comment section. I'll be all over the comment section, but it's Sage, SAGE News. Just check me out on YouTube.
Awesome. Your channel's blowing up. I really appreciate you, Sage. I'm so loving helping you guys and just crush it right now. And you guys are helping me crush it. So it's Absolutely. So mutual, man. You guys are awesome. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much. The Economic Ninja is out. And now, because I don't have an editor, we're just going to find the, everyone loves hearing that.